Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, today is the 3rd of November. I'm out at Julius Kleiner Park in Idaho, and it's a fairly blustery day. It's about 40 degrees out right now. Winds 10 miles an hour with 20-mile-an-hour gusts. That's no problem for this guy. I've got the DJI Mavic 3. This is not the Mavic 3 Classic. This is the original Mavic 3. Yesterday, the Mavic 3 Classic was introduced, but along with it was a big firmware update for those of us that already had the Mavic 3, and it added some features that I want to show you. Now, I recently posted a video showing night mode. Night mode was one of the features that they added, and I put that up last night, so you can take a look at that. I'll put a link to that at the end of the video. But what we want to show today are some of the other features, and you're going to see me looking down because I'm looking down at my notes. So the one that I'm not sure about is the quality for hyperlapse. In other words, you can do a preview of your hyperlapse. So I think if you set it in preview mode, you can look at it and see if it's something you want to keep. And then I believe there'll be an option to have it create the full resolution hyperlapse. Not sure. If we've got enough battery, we'll take a look at that. Things like ISO 1600 for D-Log. They call me Dr. Automatic, so that's not a big one for me. But if you're like to shoot in D-Log and color grade, that could be important. The one that I'm really interested in though here is the next one. So added spotlight and POI when using the Tele camera. Now it will not use active track with the Tele camera, but spotlight mode and POI, that's a big deal. So I'm looking forward to trying that out, and we'll try that out in this video. The other big one is cruise control, and cruise control is handy because what you'll be able to do is set the speed of your drone, and then you're focused on flying it, pointing the camera and so forth, and your drone is going to stay at a constant speed. So that's a handy feature. I've also got the RC Pro, and we'll show how to program this C3 button to engage cruise control. What I want to be able to do is when I'm flying, just to be able to hit that button and engage cruise control. Let's see, the other thing is gain and expo tuning. We will look at that page. That's not anything I'm going to mess with today, but that's, you know, there's guys that really fine tune their drones, and so that's going to be a handy feature. If you're in the EU, you got C1 certification. Now the next one is kind of controversial, added remote ID for the United States. Now here's what I'm going to say about that is remote ID is coming, whether you agree with it or disagree with it. I have a few reservations myself, but it's coming whether we like it or not. So failing to do an update because of that doesn't make any sense to me. You might as well just do it. It's on its way. And then the name rule, they optimized the name rule for footage, so I'm not exactly sure what that is. In other words, I think they changed it. It would just be you know, go from 1, 2, 3, 4. So they must change something in there so that you can differentiate videos that you're taking in different sessions. I believe that's it, not sure. And then fix some other bugs. One of them was color abnormal in DNG photos. Nothing that I've run across. So anyway, that's about it. So let's quit messing around. Let's get this bird in the air and let's try some of this stuff out. So let's start first by setting up that C3 button to engage cruise control. So I'm going to click at the 3 dots in the top right, and we are going to go to Control, and in Control, someplace in here, button customization down there. I'm going to click on that arrow, and the C3 button is currently set to AE lock on and off. And that is not what I want right now, so we are going to go to that right now. And it's on camera, but we want to click on Control and Cruise Control there at the bottom. So selected Cruise Control, and now as you can see, that C3 button is set to Cruise Control. I am wondering if I need to click Reset at the top here. Let's click out. and let's click back in to look at that again. Yeah, and it's still on cruise control, so I'm assuming that we have that. So we'll try that out. The reset, I wonder what that reset button does up there. I wonder if it resets things to factory settings. I'm willing to bet. So, well, let's just try it. What the heck? Reset. Yeah, reset all buttons to default. Yeah, so we're not going to do that. So we're kept clicking cancel on that. So that's what that did. Good that we found out. And so next, let's take off and let's try out that cruise control, right? So we're going to do an auto takeoff on the app right now. Well, first let's start recording. Again, we're in 4K 30, auto takeoff on the app.
Takeoff.
And let's go up to that 7-meter height straight up like DJI wants you to do. And we'll see if we can get a precision landing on the way back. So we'll let it sit there and get a look. And I see our obstacle avoidance is going off there a little bit, and you can see that downward sensor. It sees the tree that's right next to it, so that's good enough. Let's bring it around here and take a look. We'll bring it in front of the camera here like I like to do, so you can get a good look at the drone coming down. And I don't know how close it's going to let us get here with obstacle avoidance on, but we'll try. Yeah, that's about as close as we're going to get. So anyway, that's the drone, and let's go ahead and drop that camera down a little bit, and we'll try our droning right now. So reverse and up now, reverse and up, and off that guy goes. And you can see the park here. There's the leaves are definitely starting to fall. So let's see, let's get up about 30 meters high, and we're going to go out over the so we can go over the ponds here. Let's pick up that camera, get to the rule of thirds. Gosh, this thing is just beautiful. I'm always amazed, not just by the drone, but by this RC Pro, how great of an FPV view you get. You know, I've used my iPhone for years, and it dims and it's smaller. So here, let's move forward. Let's move forward. Let's get it up to about. Now I'm seeing a flaw maybe in what I did by setting the C3 button. So I'm going to have to get a finger on that button as I move forward. So let's go 10 meters per second. Let's see if we can get up to 10 meters per second. And then I clicked that button and it did nothing. Okay, let's try it one more time. I'm going to do it two-handed this time. And I'm probably going to set one of those back buttons instead of C3. We are at 10 meters per second, and I'm hitting that button. Yeah, cruise control enabled. So yeah, so it's down a little bit to about 9.5 meters per second, but what that allows me to do then is I can yaw the drone as I see fit. And it's going to stay on that speed. I can bank, and it's going to stay on that speed. Although I see the speed kind of goes up because it's banking at the same time. That's fascinating, interesting. That the speed reading is going to go up a little bit because of the bank. So let's see if we can do two. I'm banking and yawing at the same time, and it's definitely slowing down. But I think what they're saying is it's holding a constant throttle position. So as we come around, let's go the other way. Come back to us here. Yeah, and what that allows you to do is compose your shot. In a situation like this, I'm you know, kind of hands off the controls, and as I come over the sculpture here, I can drop the camera down, not worry about holding that steady speed, and then kind of reveal, bring the camera back up, back to that rule of thirds. and back the direction we came. Yeah, that works well. Let's try it one more time. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is while we're at it here, I'm going to go back into the menu and I'm going to change it. And Lon Dennard actually suggested this to me last night, and he's absolutely right. You're not going to want the C3 button for setting that. You're going to want one of the back buttons so you can just hit it with your finger and not take... so I hit the button again to take it off, and we came to a stop. So I'm going to swap C3 and one of my other buttons. So let's try that again real quick here. So I'm going to go back into that menu, back into control, and the C2 button is auxiliary light. I am going to change that to cruise control, and then I'm going to change my C3 button to auxiliary light. Boom, that easy, and we're done. So let's just try that again real quick. I'm going to begin moving forward, and let's get it up fairly quick here. And yeah, I hit that button. I was able to do that on the back of the controller without without taking my hand off of the stick. So so that worked quite well. Okay, let's take it out of that. So let's, I pushed the wrong button. I turned the auxiliary light on. How about that? Let's turn that off again. Light off. Okay, that's C2. Cruise control disabled. Let's turn it around. And what I'm going to do now is try out that long distance, the telephoto. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move forward. I got an idea. They're putting some sod down over where they're putting the pickleball courts up, and yeah, we can take a look at that and maybe and do some spotlight mode on that. I'm thinking. So I'm probably too close here. Let's back up because we're going to be using that 7x zoom. And okay, so I'm going to stop recording. And we are going to go into Explorer mode, and then I am going to go up to that 7x zoom. Wow, it's you forget how much how far that zoom is. So, whoop. So I want to just get it to the 7. There we go. We're at the 7 right there. And so we are a long ways off from where that's at. So I'm thinking I'm going to grab some altitude here so that we get a kind of a bigger picture. And in fact, maybe even pull back a little bit. Okay, so there we are. And so let me start recording again. I forgot to do that. And then let's see if we can go into spotlight mode here. Function not supported in Explorer mode. Well, that is interesting. So that is not what we were told. So evidently, you don't want to be in Explorer mode to do that. So let me stop recording. We're learning this together. Let's go out of Explorer mode. Back into normal mode. And let's see if we can still then zoom in to that 7x zoom, and you can't. Oh, you click on the 7. There we go. There. Okay, so that's what I had to do. You're not in Explorer mode. Just on that right-hand side, click on the 7x, and you're there. And I'm sure we'll be able to do it now. Let's start recording. So, well, I tried the box and we got nothing. Identifying subject failed. Select static subject with textured surfaces. So I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, so let's, no, there it got it. So it finally got it. So we're in spotlight mode now. So, so let's move forward. And it should keep the camera. I'm moving the stick, the right stick, sideways. And it is indeed, it's holding that spot in the middle of let's back up again a little bit so we get the bigger picture. and it's picking the camera up to stay on that spot. Let's rotate it around again, and we're doing a big orbit. The drone is just about right above where I'm sitting right now. It's a long ways off from where the point of interest is there. So let's move forward, move towards it, and let's just see if we can fly over the top of it and see what happens. It should, if it works like it does in the other modes, it'll flip the drone around. Yeah, we just lost it is all we did. So that didn't quite work like we wanted it to. So that, in other words, yeah, you're not going to be able to fly over the top of it. But other than that, you can perform about any maneuver you want. As I back up, yeah, it lost it again there. So there are definitely limitations. Yeah. Well, you know what? I tried to push up on the camera, and clearly the camera was looking up as far as it could. So that's why it did that. So there are limitations, but it does work. Particularly if you're backing away here. Yeah, I don't know. Now it seems to be picking up the camera. I wonder if I was moving too quickly before. That's what I suspect I probably was doing, and I literally overran it. I suspect is what happened there. But that seems to work. Okay, so now let's try point of interest mode. So let's click on point of interest, and I can hear the drone right above me here. Let's go counterclockwise. We're going to click go. And it should hold that position. I see it's kind of moved it to the bottom of the screen. But it is working. And it's going to be relatively slow, because if you think about it, the drone is really on a wide arc in order to do this. So okay, so let's stop that. Let's try it in another spot here. We've got 67% battery. So let's click out of that one. So we are out of spotlight mode in that one. So let's go. And we're up there. We're almost 100 meters high. So the drone is up there. Let's go out and see if we can. And I'm just spinning the drone around here. I was thinking maybe we could get it on the. Well, let's go on this other one, and this will be a challenge because it's looking into the sun. Let's see if we can get the fountain in the center. Yeah, okay, it got it. Let's go point of interest, and let's go the other way. Let's do it fairly fast, and let's click go. And let's see if it holds it here. And it is. I mean, that's a fairly complicated one, because look at the glare that it's looking at there as it's trying to do that. So it works, although look, I see it drifting a little bit now. Yeah, it's definitely drifting. So there are limitations. Let's just let it go and let's just see what it does. Yeah, it's definitely drifted, and our point of interest is that we initially set it on is completely out of the screen. So I guess what I'm going to tell you is there are limitations. I would say that this may be more appropriate for something that's even further away than what I'm trying to do here. But the drone is doing an orbit. But anyway, enough of that. Let's stop right there, and let's get out of that. And we took it out of that mode. So I'm going to go back into normal video here, because I need to stop recording. Let's go back into normal video, and that'll tell you. That kind of gives you an idea of how far away we are. And let's try that hyperlapse. Let's bring the drone down, number one, because we're so high up. Let's see. We want to come back this way so we've got the sun behind us. But we should be able to, with the wind here, we should be able to see some of these trees blowing around a little bit. So we'll get it pointed our direction here in a second. and we'll just do a course lock hyperlapse, and we'll try that preview mode out. I think I know what it does, but I can't tell you for certain, for sure. So let's get it down a little bit lower here, and we'll be able to see the flag waving and so forth. And well, let me get the angle right here, and we'll come over the top of some of these trees, etc., and see if we can get some action here. So clicking again on that little film strip looking thing, and we are going to go down into, whoops, one more time, down into hyperlapse. And we want to do a hyperlapse course lock. So we're going to go course lock, and we're going to have to lock the course, which is, so by doing that, I click on that little thing and I've locked the course. And let's see, we're not going to do, we'll speed it up here a little bit. Let's do 1 meter per second. And then a fairly short one here. I don't know if we can change the interval any. No, that's the 2 seconds is the best we can do the interval. I don't know how much time we're going to have. Let's try an 8-second hyperlapse. So there we go. And where does it tell us to do it in preview? Maybe it's once the hyperlapse is done. So I'm going to go ahead and start the hyperlapse. And I think my suspicion is at the end of the hyperlapse, it will give us the opportunity to preview. So we're going to find out together. See you on the other side.
Shooting is nearing completion.
Okay, we're almost at the end here, and what I'm hoping that we'll see when it completes shooting is our option whether to look at a preview, and then if we like the preview, to go ahead and synthesize it into a full resolution hyperlapse. But we'll see, we're almost there, a couple shots to go. And it says creating video. So whatever that process is, clearly I was wrong, because I didn't, I saw no place in that menu where it gave me the opportunity to look at a preview. Hey everybody, I'm inserting this in the video. What I couldn't figure out with regard to preview mode on the hyperlapse, Ron Brown showed in his video. So I just thought I'd pull it up and show it to you right here. If you look right here, when you select the format at the bottom of the screen, it brings up this particular menu, and you can select output in high or preview. Now, I am still not sure I'm clear on the value of that. If it synthesizes it in preview, does it then give you an option to go ahead and synthesize it in the full resolution version? I'm not sure. Or is it that you just make a dry run and then look at it, and if you like the output, you go do the hyperlapse again? I'm not sure. But I just wanted to show you where that menu was on the screen. And thank you, Ron Brown, for letting me use your screenshot here. Added output quality settings for hyperlapse. Select from higher preview options. And I never saw a dialog box for that. So, hey, you know, at least you guys are going to be able to look at kind of a cool hyperlapse here. I'll have to do some more research and figure that one out.
Video synthesis completed.
Yeah, and so it says it created it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where that preview mode comes into play. So, well, while we're here, maybe we can just try another hyperlapse, and let's just do free. Current battery level may be insufficient. Yeah, okay. Shooting parameters. I'm looking at their little menu here, and I get that. So I'm wondering, I'm looking at this menu at the bottom, and it just, you know, it gives us the options for durations, etc. Yeah, I'm going to have to do some research and figure out that preview mode, guys. I don't know what that is, but whoop, I didn't mean to do that. Let's get out of there. We're going to go back into video mode. And let's start video again. And let's take a quick look in the menu again. And I want to show you in the control menu here. We now can we can do gain and expo tuning. So that's something new that they added. That you can select Cine, normal, and sport. And yeah, right down here is the expo tuning. And yeah, tilt smoothness and so forth. Yep. So yeah, that's all good stuff. If you're you know, if you want to be able to tune your the controls exactly how you want. So that is about it. I apologize for not giving you a better look at the at what it means by preview for Hyperlapse, so I'm going to have to do some research into that. But in the meantime, let's fly the drone out here a ways, and we're going to take one more look at the at where they are laying some sod down on the pickleball courts here, because people that follow my channel have seen me kind of follow the construction of the pickleball courts here. So yeah, they got a machine that they kind of lay those big rolls. Look at those big rolls of sod that they have, and they're rolling them out, and so it should look pretty good. I mean, I kind of thought, well, geez, if they haven't laid the sod out now, are they going to have to wait till next spring? But evidently not. So, okay, let's stop right there and let's do return to home on the controller. And it took that command, and let's see if we can get a precision landing here. We did give it a good look at the landing pad, but we did a lot of varied and different things with it. So let's see what happens here. On its way back. There's still a few leaves on these trees and look pretty good. You know, it's coming back at pretty quick, over 13 meters per second. Moving right along. And I'll drop the camera down here so we can see the landing pad here and get an idea if it's going to hit it or not. Yeah, it's pretty darn close as it is. Look at that. Look at how close it is. You got that, the X is on the spot there. It's right in the center, so it looks to me like we're going to get it. It looks to me like we got this one covered. And it'll pick up that camera. Yeah, it already picked up the camera. It's centering right over the pad. Yeah, it's gonna nail it. It's right on the H. Yeah, a little bit off as we got in there. So let me get everything shut down and we'll do a quick conclusion. Hey, okay, the DJI Mavic 3 and the recent November firmware update, the 0900 firmware update, just continues to add more features into the technology of this product. Just an amazing drone. So what did we look at today? We checked out how to reset the C1, C2, and C3 buttons. I initially set the C3 button for cruise control, and the problem with that is you got a finger on here, and like I said, my friend Lon Dennard mentioned that to me last night. He said, well, then you're gonna have to take your finger off the stick to hit that to put it in cruise control, and he's right. So what I ended up doing is resetting the C2 button on the back here, so you're flying, you can just hit that C2 button and you're not taking your finger off the stick while you're flying. And then we demonstrated cruise control, and it works great, and it allows you to fly the drone and keep the throttle in a consistent position. I did notice that it changes as you yaw, well, not as you yaw so much, but as you bank the drone and turn. it's gonna decrease or increase the actual speed that you're going, but it keeps that throttle position right where it's at. Then we looked at in the 7x zoom, the telephoto camera. We checked out spotlight mode and point of interest mode, and there are some limitations. And I suspect that it's because how far this camera can move around, I suppose. But so there are some limitations to that, but it does work. And you know, if you're trying to keep something in center of frame, it's something that you're going to be able to use. However, I'm going to say that there's probably limited situations where you're going to need to do that. Most of the time when you're using that spotlight mode, you're just going to be in the 1x main camera here. You know, like I said, I think there's, number one, there's limited functionality to it. We proved to it that it's not we proved that it's not foolproof. But also, you know, when are you going to use that? But it is there if you need it. The one that I can't figure out is the preview mode on the Hyperlapse. I saw no menu for that, so I'm going to have to do some more research. But you did get to see a Hyperlapse, a course lock Hyperlapse in this video, so we'll look at that. And then I showed you where you change the gain and expo tuning and so forth. So yeah, I guess that's about it. I had a lot of fun putting this together today. My fingers are kind of cold. It's definitely fall, and we're coming up on winter. So yeah, this is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I do appreciate you taking the time to look at this video. And of course, we will see you on the next one. I do have my Johnny Drone Flyer shirt on today, so hello to Johnny. Yeah, the DJI Mavic 3, just an amazing piece of technology. See you guys later.